Welcome to the Country Scroller. I'm Dustin Cars, and today we're going to be making this plaque. I don't know how well you can see it from there because the writing on these tags are small, but this is a plaque that I made basically to reflect on the past life of Dustin Connors before he got into woodworking. Little do a lot of you woodworkers that watch my videos know I used to race motocross, and I did that at a young age until around age 12, and over that time I collected a lot of trophies. When I first started racing, I raced at fairs and stuff like that, smaller races, and they gave out just trophies instead of, plaques. And on those trophies, I had tons of those, and just recently, a lot of them are falling apart and stuff, so what I decided to do was take the metal plate off that had what class I raced in, the date, and the place that I got, and I just keep all those and then just throw away the actual trophies because they're just cheap plastic. Then the newer races, I have plaques. I have a few boxes full of plaques from a lot of the years of racing as well. But what I did with all the tags is put them on the plaque that I made here today, and that will just hang on the wall and just show off all those, instead of just sitting in a little plastic baggie and collecting dust. So I thought it was a cool way to remember my time in racing motocross. So hope you enjoy this video and how I make this plaque. No scrolling involved on it. Actually, the scroll saw is out of commission for now. The upper blade chuck has the thread stripped out on it, so I have to look into getting a new chuck for it. So for now, we're just going to be milling up some wood, showing you that process. So let's get started. Alright, what I'm doing now is I'm just going to be cutting it to size for more workable pieces. So I'm just cross-cutting it there with the circular saw. Now I'm ripping it to roughly 6 inches because that's the width of my jointer, so I'll be able to do a jointed face of it because I'm going to be sending it through the planer, so I'll need one flat face there. So ripping that to 6 inches, and now I'm jointing it so I have a flat face. It might take more than one pass, but that's all I'm going to show. Check it for square. It looks like we're good. So we're going to joint an edge because we'll be gluing up the board, so we'll need nice seams. So run a couple times, make sure you have a nice edge on that. Now to send it through the planer, we're going to be knocking it down to 3/4 of an inch. That's our final thickness that we'll take it down to. The next step is to glue up the panel here, and with the 3 different pieces, that means that we have an odd number. And usually when you're gluing up a panel, the growth rings on the edge of the board you pay attention to, and you alternate each one. So that means that on this one we'll have them, go in one direction, and they'll be the same as this board, and they'll be opposite in the middle. And that prevents cupping, because if they're all, the frown face, then it could, cup, and it's just to prevent cupping. As well as if you were to attach these together with biscuits or even dowels, it helps align stuff and keep it from bending in the future, but since I don't have a biscuiter or a doweling jig to do that, I'm just going to do it all with glue only and clamping pressure. So I'll just put the glue on like you would glue up anything else, and then just clamp it together, and then I'll have a board that will go across it as well to keep it flat. And then I'll also alternate the clamping pressure by putting one of them upside down also to keep it flat. So now to glue. Now as far as matching the grain on the panels, this red oak, it has pretty much the same streaky straight grain as each piece does. It doesn't have straight grain and cathedral grain, it's just consistent. And with the glue on both of those, I'm just going to glue it like that, not worry about glue on the middle piece. Alright, so now I'm using the belt sander to sand off the excess glue that was on the surface from the glue up. And it's too wide to send through the planer, or I would do that. But that makes quick work with the sander and just smoothing up all the glue joints there. Alright, now to this point we have everything sanded, and after I sanded the glue joints, I ended up jointing one of the edges since I didn't have the outside ones done when I did the glue up. I only did the inside ones. I jointed one edge and then squared it up on the table saw, and then also mitered the ends to get the length. And it's not a certain measurement, it's just however big it was after I had it all squared up is where I left it at. And I could just give you a quick measurement here. It's about 19.5 by 17 inches. Not, any certain measurement, just make sure that all the pieces will fit on it, rearranged out, and they will, so that's good. So now what we're going to do is shape the ends of it, or the edges, to give it the plaque look. Then we'll give it a finished sand and a round over, and then actually put a finish on it, and we'll put the pieces, the tags on last. So, because we're going to use carpet tape to put those on, and I'll show you how I'll flatten them out and everything like that too, because some of them are bent. So now, what I've decided to do for this, I'll zoom in. For this corner here, I've decided to measure 2 inches from the edge to each part, and then just use something that has a curve on it and connect the points. I'll just cut those on the scroll saw or bane saw, whatever, and then that'll be that. And then so I'll go ahead and do that to all the corners, and then I will do a round over with the router. Alright, here I have my router outfitted with a Roman OD or OG 1/4 inch, and I'm going to do it to where it has 2 layers instead of 3, so you can set the bit to 2 different heights on this. So I'm going to do the end grain first, and then because I have to clamp it to the table, I'll just have to move it around the board, so it'll take a little bit, but I'll just do the one side, of course. Alright, so here I'm routing the edge first, or end of it, and it burned a little bit. I went too slow, so I just had to clean that up a little bit. As I go around, first time routing, so it's just new to me with the speed you have to go and all that, and hair bit of burn marks, but it gives the board character in my opinion. So it actually turned out to be pretty good at the end here, and as I keep going around, it's just have to keep moving the clamps because I don't have bench dogs or anything to clamp it between and just route the whole thing. But turned out pretty good, so there is the routing. Alright, so overall I believe that the routing edge actually turned out pretty good. Definitely on the end grain it struggled because it started to burn and stuff. Maybe I was going too slow or whatever. But on the edge grain it did perfect. I'm still a rookie with the router. I've only used it a couple times, and before I got my own I've only used it once or twice in shop class at school. So it's definitely something I'll have to learn and pick up on as I go from project to project. But this was a perfect opportunity to just test out the skills of just going around the board with a simple round over profile. So I believe it did alright, and I can just touch up some of the burn spots with sandpaper and just smooth everything up so it looks good and presentable. So I don't know, it turned out pretty good in my opinion. So I'll just get everything finished up with some sandpaper around the little roughed up areas and get the burn parts gone, and then put a finish on it. And also we'll talk about how to hang it up. I'll make a cool looking thing on the back so it'll hang up on the wall. Alright, so here's just a little back thing I did. It looks kind of crappy, but it's going to hold it strong. I have a piece of metal that I nailed in, as well as used some Gorilla Glue, because this is a pretty heavy board here, so I just wanted to make sure it's staying there. And it's not like I'm going to sell this or anything, so nobody else will have it to see that eyesore in the back, but it is in the back, so it's alright. To finish it, I'll just use some Formby's tung oil. It's a high gloss, but that's all I have. You don't have to use a high gloss, just something to bring out the grain. Now here's a couple things that I made by just screwing into a piece of random piece of wood and then snipping off the end. These are serving as some painter blocks or painter pyramids or whatever. That way I can set this on here and it won't get the surface that I finished all dirty. Like that. Alright, here I have the plaque inside the house here because in a change of a day the weather has gotten cold outside, and so I have it inside here, nothing woodworking going on, just going to be placing the pieces down. And to do that I'll use some carpet tape, and that should hold them down pretty well. A couple of them had carpet tape actually affixed to the trophies that these pieces came off of, so it should hold it fine. So I just have them rough arranged how I'm going to have them, and then I'll just use this and have a block of wood. Because this is wider, I can lay the tape down, cut it to whatever size with a box cutter, and then place them on there that way. So I'll go ahead and do all those real quick, and then I'll be right back with you. Alright, and after about 15 minutes of hassling with that tape, it's all on there. So that's a good look at it. They're harder to see, these darker ones, but I flattened them out the best I could and then stuck them down, so they turned out pretty good. There's my pile of scraps there, and first time using the carpet tape, so it turned out pretty good in my opinion. So this was a cool video of how to make this plaque, just the wood part of milling it down from the rough cut stage of wood, and putting this on here, my first time using carpet tape to put it on here. And by the way, I'm wearing a jacket right here. This is the day after I shot the video of this being milled up. And one day it was 60 degrees out in the workshop, and that's when I was milling it all down, and it got this done. And then the next day when I put this stuff on, which is today, it's pretty darn cold out now, so this weather's been a little screwy lately, but hopefully it'll stay warm out and I'll be able to do a lot of woodworking and have this all fixed and stuff like that. So hope you enjoyed this video. Next video, don't know when it'll be, but probably do a review on a tool or something like that, since the scroll saw is under work right now. So thanks for watching this video. I'm Dustin. We'll see you next time on the Country Scroller. It's kind of hard to see that close up, but try to give you a good look, and I didn't go too slow so you could focus on one of them, but a mixture of between first and seventh places, and a few of them are fairs, a few of them are different outdoor tracks throughout the southwest Ohio area, places I raced at, and that one you just passed was Dayton. That Highland Lakes was down in Hillsboro, and just different fairs and stuff, and some indoor tracks as well. So there's a look at that.